People, LP2000, right back at you with another video. Yes, welcome back to Lizard Chambers Kaiju Reviews on behalf of Summit Kaiju and on behalf of Collect All Monsters. And I'm back again with another round of these awesome special effects movies, books. Yes, yes, yes. The Toho special effects movies, authentic visual books, if you will. Now, if you recall my last video, when I took on the devastating duo that closed out the final Godzilla film from the Showa series, Terror Mecha Godzilla, with Titanosaurus, as well as the 1975 Mecha Godzilla. If you recall towards the tail end of that video, I kind of gave a hint on what the next book review would be, and I said that I would travel 16 years into the future. Well, 16 years from 1975 is, of course, 1991. And we all know what awesome film came out in 1991. Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, my most favorite film from the Heisei film series. So without further ado, let's dive headfirst into these two books that cover the two major kaiju from that film, yes, 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 with volume number 45 devoted to 1991 Godzilla, as well as his opponent, volume number 46. King Ghidorah 1991. As you can see, I have the beautiful books here. Yes, 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 they are awesome. Now, I've done a couple of videos about these books before, so I'm not going to rehash on how to get these books and blah, blah, blah. Please check out my book review devoted to Gabra and Hedra, as well as my last review, like I said, Titanosaurus and the 75 Mecha Godzilla, and I go into detail on how you can acquire these books. So with this video, we're going to just dive head first on what I normally do in these videos anyway, which is I'm going to showcase 3 random photographs from these books and just give you my thoughts and opinions behind the photograph. The whole idea, obviously, is to sell you on these books, to sell you on why you should have these books in your collection, considering that there are awesome picture books, 30 pages of pristine, awesome photos that you have seen before, or maybe you have not seen before, of these great kaiju, you know what I'm saying, with Godzilla 1991, King Ghidorah 1991. They have done a vast array of kaiju throughout the tokusatsu universe. You know, the Gargantuas, Gigan 1972, excuse me, Jet Jaguar, Godzilla 54, 55, 62, 64, 74, 84, 99, GMK, Final Wars, Shin Godzilla, as well as Biollante, Space Godzilla, the Mecha Godzilla 1974, 1975, 1993. They have done just a vast array of kaiju. So if you're a fan of a particular kaiju, more than likely they will have the book for you. But in this review, we're going to cover the two major kaiju from this awesome film, 1991, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, excuse me. And I know this film in particular doesn't exactly have the best reputation when it comes to Godzilla fans. It's one of the most polarizing entries in the entire franchise, especially the Heisei series. This film is kind of like Son of Godzilla, or maybe Final Wars, in terms of when it comes to Godzilla fans is split. You either love this film or you hate it. Despite its flaws, and yes, it does have flaws. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a perfect movie because it's not. I love this film. I really do. Like I said, it's my most favorite film from the Heisei period. Even though it's my personal favorite, because of the problems that it has, I wouldn't recommend this to like maybe a Kaiju newbie or whatever. That would go to Biollante, quite frankly. But through and all, despite its flaws, despite its shortcomings, despite just the negativity that's thrown this film's way, it is my favorite from the Heisei film series. So, let's go into why I love this film with these awesome picture books. And you know what? Instead of focusing on Godzilla first, since he does get top billing, let's focus on the 1991 King Ghidorah book. Yes, yes, yes. This book is awesome. Now, if you're a King Ghidorah fan, especially from the Heisei period, you need to have this book. Just an awesome book of King Ghidorah, not to mention Mecha King Ghidorah as well as the Dorats. Obviously, there's so much that they packed into this book. But like I said, I'm going to showcase 3 random photographs, once again, to sell you on the idea of why you should get these books in your collection. So without further ado, let's go with the first photograph. And yes, I just mentioned the Dorats. And yes, I know that this is part of the film that doesn't sit well with a lot of Godzilla fans. The origin of King Ghidorah in this film isn't exactly the best in the world. Because, you know, in the Showa series, he came from outer space. And even though his backstory isn't too vast, you know, we don't really know much about him as a kaiju, except, you know, he has a reputation of destroying civilizations and other planets. And he's from outer space. But that's pretty much all that we know. But in this film, we get an updated origin story for King Ghidorah, and it's because of the Dorats. Now, if you've seen the film, you know exactly what the Dorats are. And that's the thing, and I'm with you, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me, I understand. I'm on the same fence as you are. I have a hard time believing that these three cute little creatures were able to fuse together and become the menacing, destructive, just evil and deadly King Ghidorah that we will see later on in the film. Because these creatures, the Dorats, they're peaceful, friendly creatures. You know what I'm saying? Now, if they would have behaved like, let's say, the Gremlins. Remember the movie The Gremlins? not Gizmo, the Mogwai. You know, I love Gizmo. I love the Gremlins too, really, quite frankly. But Gremlins, you know, those evil, destructive creatures that would just do evil, malicious, and just dastardly things. Now, if the Dorats behave more so like Gremlins, like if we would have saw them do something more sinister in the film, like just either bite people or snap at people, just do something just evil. But we don't see that in the film. That's why I have a hard time believing that these 3, you know, friendly, just docile creatures merged into King Ghidorah. But at the same time, once King Ghidorah comes on the screen, I kind of forget the new origin, quite frankly. But still, I'm with you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm with you. Trust me, these cute little things, once again, I have a hard time believing that they become King Ghidorah, but they do in the film. But, you know, it is what it is. And speaking of King Ghidorah, let's go with the next photograph. And yes, I mentioned King Ghidorah just now, and look at this thing. Oh my God, this is so awesome. Oh my God, yes. Once again, the Dorat situation, I understand. But once this guy comes on the screen, you kind of forget about it, and rightfully so, because this thing is amazing. And what I love about this version of King Ghidorah is the fact that they really didn't stray too much from the design from the Showa period, quite frankly. The only thing they really did was maybe they made the suit a little bit brighter gold a little bit. The wings are obviously bigger, and instead of hair on the back of his necks, of his 3 necks, they gave him like horns or spikes, whatever, behind each of his heads, you know what I'm saying? And the facial features on each head looks far more fiercer, or more fierce and more intimidating, more just evil looking, quite frankly. And the Showa King Ghidorah already looked evil and sinister, but they were able to just double that with the Heisei version of King Ghidorah. As a matter of fact, he's one of my most favorite King Ghidorah designs. My favorite is, of course, the Showa. The second is obviously this guy, and I would say the MonsterVerse probably would be number 3. Far as like my top 3 favorite designs of King Ghidorah. But yes, this is such an awesome representation or incarnation of King Ghidorah. You know what I'm saying? And once again, as I mentioned in other videos, these books not only provide like viewing pleasure, they're also like a reference tool. Like if you want to make a kaiju sculpt model kit wise, or maybe if you're into cosplay, if you want to make a King Ghidorah suit, God bless you if you want to do that. Oh my God, make sure you have a lot of material. But it's a reference tool if you want to get into cosplay to create the actual suit or model kit of the particular design of the kaiju in question, because they cover pretty much all angles of the particular kaiju in these books. Once again, they offer like a great reference tool. Once again, King Ghidorah from the Heisei period looks really, really, really awesome. Yes, he does. So without further ado, let's go with the final photograph. And yes, this is taken from the climatic battle in the film. Yes, 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 where King Ghidorah gets himself a little upgrade. Yes, after Godzilla momentarily defeats King Ghidorah in their first fight, they bring him back as a mecha once Godzilla starts to do damage. And he is brought back as Mecha King Ghidorah. You know what? Might as well. We got ourselves a Mecha Kong or Mechanic Kong. We got a Mecha Godzilla. So why not a Mecha King Ghidorah? And once again, I love this look of King Ghidorah. Performance-wise, I actually prefer the first version of King Ghidorah. This version of King Ghidorah, even though he's very impressive looking, you know what I'm saying? I would give it that. The fight scene really isn't all that great, at least it's not that spectacular, at least in my opinion, because Mecha King Ghidorah barely even moves, he barely even walks. And that's for good reason, because when they made the suit for Mecha King Ghidorah, it was so heavy that they didn't want to take a chance of an actor being inside, so in case they lift it up, it may come crashing down. So that's why when you watch the fight between Godzilla and Mecha King Ghidorah in the film, you notice that Mecha King Ghidorah hardly ever even moves. Like I said, he jumps up, but that's pretty much it. He doesn't walk, he doesn't do anything that the first King Ghidorah did, and rightfully so. But at the same time, this is such an awesome rendition of King Ghidorah. Once again, if you thought the first version of the Heisei King Ghidorah was awesome, they kind of made it even more awesome with the Mecha version with Mecha King Ghidorah. You know what I'm saying? But this photograph is awesome, you know, between Godzilla and Mecha King Ghidorah. And it's kind of ironic when you look at the photographs on the cover of both books. On the Godzilla book, it's depicted at the time where Godzilla is looked upon as like the savior to take out King Ghidorah. But in the King Ghidorah book, where the roles have reversed and now Godzilla is the villain, and now we have to rely on Mecha King Ghidorah to take out Godzilla, I really do enjoy that. But once again, Mecha King Ghidorah 1991, or at least King Ghidorah 1991, excuse me, the book is such an awesome book. Yes, yes, yes. If you're a fan of this version of King Ghidorah or a fan of the film, please do not hesitate to get your hands on this book. Oh, by the way, when you're fat, you're in good hands when I send this book to you. Yes, yes, yes. So now let's go with the main monster of the film. Yes, yes, yes. The reason why we're all here, ladies and gentlemen, the 1991 Godzilla, from this epic film of Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. Once again, you know this about me. Godzilla 1991 is my most favorite incarnation of Godzilla from the Heisei period. He is number 2 on my top 10 favorite Godzilla designs behind the 64. Once again, I love the 89 Godzilla, you know, from Biollante, but they just were able to take that existing design and just make it better. You know, he's more fierce looking, more intimidating. They buffed up his chest a little bit, but everything else they left the same. You know, the skin, the dorsal plates, the tail arrangement, excuse me. But once again, I just love how they took an already existing awesome Godzilla design and just made it better. And they did exactly that with the 1991 Godzilla. Once again, I know Gojira 851 feels me on this. Trust me, dude, you're going to be in hog heaven once this book arrives to you too. So without further ado, let's go head first with the first photograph of the Godzilla book. And yes, in this photograph, you see behind the scenes shots of some technicians tending to the Godzillasaurus suit that was used in the film. And in the foreground is the special effects director Koichi Kawakita. And once again, one thing I love about this film is the fact that we really do get an origin story of sorts of Godzilla and King Ghidorah to a certain extent. And the fact that both of these monsters have basically the same origin. You know, they were both, we see them as both friendly creatures at first, but yet nuclear radiation turned them to the super monsters that we know and love later on. And I loved how in this film, especially with Godzilla, we get somewhat more of a backstory on how he became Godzilla, because in the original Godzilla, you know, they surmised that he was a dinosaur that was already like that hid away from humanity for all these many years, but the nuclear radiation woke him up and brought him back. Here, Godzilla is an ordinary dinosaur, and the nuclear radiation that was bombarded on him turned him into a vicious monster. So it really just depends on which origin story that you like. Quite frankly, I love them both. I love in the original where you don't really see the origin, but it's left to your imagination. And I love in this film where they go into detail and show how Godzilla became Godzilla. I can appreciate both stories, you know, and that's one of the main reasons why I really do enjoy this film. You know, it makes up for the fact that Godzilla really is not around for the good majority of the film. He doesn't really show up until like an hour into the film. But this origin story of sorts of both King Ghidorah and Godzilla does make up for it, and this is a great photograph to show you why that is. So let's go with the second photograph. And yes, after telling both stories of the origin stories of King Ghidorah and Godzilla, finally, we see these two awesome monsters, these two enemies, go at it for the first time, for the one and only time that we see them go at each other one-on-one. There's no Rodan, there's no Mothra, there's no Gigan, there's no Anguirus. It's just mano a mano. Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. And this was a great fight. In my opinion, it was the best fight between the two of the film, quite frankly. And it's just awesome, you know, after waiting for so long. You know, mind you, the story is really, really good, in my opinion, of Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. Even though the time travel plot can get annoying, and as long as you don't think about it too much, I can understand. Because if you poke holes into it, yes, you're able to find the flaws into it. But if you turn your brain off, kind of like Godzilla King of Monsters 2019, it really is a good monster flick if you really think about it. But this is the payoff. And that's why I always tell people when it comes to this film that, yes, it's a long setup to get to the monster action. Yes, it is. But once we get there, it is awesome. Because once King Ghidorah comes on the screen, once they realize they have to bring Godzilla back, once Godzilla does come back and they fight, then Godzilla starts attacking. Then they bring back Mecha King Ghidorah to fight Godzilla. It's pretty much a non-stop ride once the monsters appear on screen. You see what I'm saying? And this fight scene between the two, oh my God, it's awesome. Once again, it's really ironic and kind of funny that in the long history that this franchise has been around, that Godzilla and King Ghidorah have only fought each other one time, where it's just them two mano a mano. You know what I'm saying? In like a film. You see what I'm saying? Of course, we see them fight one-on-one in Godzilla King of Monsters 2019. But once again, other monsters were in the film. I'm talking about a film that's just devoted to King Ghidorah versus Godzilla, which is one of the other reasons why I do recommend this film. You see what I'm saying? So now let's go with the final photograph of this awesome book of the 1991 Godzilla. And yes, you know what? This is another scene that brings this film out of mediocrity for me. You know what I'm saying? This film right here, because you have in this film so many stories going on that kind of weave into each other. You know what I'm saying? You have the origin story of King Ghidorah, why the Futurians have came back to destroy Japan, why they want to erase Godzilla from history, the desperate attempts to bring Godzilla back once King Ghidorah starts attacking, the meeting of Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, you know, when they bring back Mecha King Ghidorah to stop Godzilla. And all the while, you also have this story of one of the main characters of the film, Shindo, that believes that the dinosaur that ends up becoming Godzilla, that did save him during World War II, he still sees a lot of goodness in Godzilla. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, you know, he was pretty much the main one responsible for having the means to bring Godzilla back in this film. You see what I'm saying? But this film right here, or at least this moment right here, which is something I don't see a lot of Godzilla fans talk about. It's just this one-on-one moment. Rarely does Godzilla have a moment with a human being. But in this film right here, or at least in this moment, Godzilla is rampaging his way in Tokyo before Mecha King Ghidorah arrives. And he spots Shindo. And they both have like a moment where they recognize each other. Shindo, you know, obviously knows Godzilla, or at least sees the dinosaur that once was Godzilla in Godzilla at that point. Godzilla looks back at Shindo and sees the soldier that he saved all those many years ago. And that moment is really powerful. You know, there's no words, you know what I'm saying? It's just a soft, you know, melody music from Ifukube in the background. It's a sad and tragic moment that, you know, Shindo has high hopes that even though Godzilla is now this super monster, that he is still has some goodness in him. But at the end of the scene, Godzilla kills him. You know, just straight up obliterates him. And what I gather from that scene is the fact that, yes, Godzilla, at least a dinosaur that once was Godzilla, was a peaceful creature at first, but the radiation changed him. The same way it changed the Dorax into the more vicious King Ghidorah. The same thing applies to Godzilla, and at that point when Godzilla just kills Shindo, even though he knows who he is, that just tells me that Godzilla is like, you know what, I can't help what I am. You made me this way. Your nuclear radiation, humanity's involvement, y'all made me this way, so I have to be who I am. Which ends up very tragic for Shindo. But that scene right there, it always gets to me when I watch it. You know what I'm saying? Because at that moment, I always want Godzilla just to move on and spare Shindo's life. You see what I'm saying? Because we kind of feel like the way Shindo does. You see what I'm saying? We want to see the goodness in Godzilla, even though at this point, Godzilla is far from being good. But when he kills him anyway, it is sad. It is sad, and one of the most powerful moments of a film that's played with time travel, plot holes, and bad acting from the Futurians. But it's moments like this that, once again, makes me appreciate this movie, makes me recommend this movie. Despite your hate for the time travel plot, like I said, the bad acting from the Futurians, in my opinion, with Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, there's a lot more good to outweigh the bad when it comes to this film. And this moment right here is one of the most shining points from this awesome film of Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. So that's pretty much it with the 1991 Godzilla book. Once again, both books are awesome. If you can find them, please get your hands on these books, especially if you're a fan of the 1991 Godzilla and King Ghidorah, or just a fan of the film in general. You will not be disappointed with these books. William Fact, Godzilla 851. You know exactly what I'm talking about when I send these books your way. Yes, 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 yes. So that pretty much concludes my review of Toho Special Effects Movies Authentic Visual Books devoted to the Volume 45, the 1991 Godzilla, as well as Volume number 46, the awesome monsters that he fought in this film of Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, the 1991 King Ghidorah. Yes, yes, yes. You have any questions, comment down in the comment section. Hit me on Facebook via Leslie P. Chambers. We'll definitely go from there. Yes, once again, these books are amazing. Yes, yes, yes. Once again, as I mentioned earlier, I know because of the world the way it is right now, if you're tired of watching movies, if you're tired of doing the same old, please track these books down. You know what I'm saying? These are an awesome investment. You know, like I said, 30 pristine photographs of your favorite kaiju are in these books. You see what I'm saying? Once again, they offer viewing pleasure. They could be an awesome reference to if you're like a modeler or a cosplay or whatever. Once again, I cannot recommend these books enough. And once again, William Fact, Godzilla 851. Yes, these books are the truth. They are the truth. Yes, yes, yes. And speaking of King Ghidorah, stay tuned to the very end of the video and you will see what's coming up next. Figure review wise on Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews. Now hopefully I think y'all will enjoy that. Yes, yes, yes. But in the meantime, get these books. You will not be disappointed with Volume number 45, Godzilla 1991, Volume number 46, King Ghidorah 1991, the Toho Special Effects Movies Authentic Visual Books. You will not be disappointed. Trust me when I say that. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And I will see y'all again on this figure move review. Alright? Y'all take it.